going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. So now we're on episode 15 of the Killin It Resurrection series. Oh man, these freaking episodes are adding up quick. So now we're going to start rigging this brand new, fully built Socal diesel twin turbo Duramax LMM engine capable of 1,000 horsepower. Well, 800 to 1,200 horsepower. So I think we're going to slide right on in there in the middle of that nice, comfortable quad digit 1,000 horsepower. Oh man, 80 pounds boost is what this thing's going to be able to do. That's what they're telling me anyway. Oh, brother, it's going to be freaking bitching. So if y'all didn't already, make sure you hit the like button at the bottom of the screen. Hit the subscribe button down there in my channel name. That way you get notified anytime I upload any other videos, like more super bitchin' Killin It Resurrection videos, some mud bogging videos once we get all girl up and ripping, some tug of war videos. I've even been going to those even though I haven't had a freaking truck. Fishing, there's all kinds of good stuff on the channel, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the action yourselves. But in this episode, we're going to go ahead and start rigging that new engine. So in the last episode, we went through and took my old engine and started completely like disassembling it. Well, not totally disassembling it, but taking all the pieces off that we're going to reuse on this new motor. Mainly the engine wiring harness and a couple sensors, little odds that will actually replace most of the sensors. So the main thing was the engine wiring harness and a couple little brackets and whatnot. And coincidentally enough, guess what we got right here in my home shop? My blown up Duramax engine right here, right freaking here. So as y'all can see, yeah, she's seen some better freaking days. I tell you that. But we've got everything off her that we are going to need to use on the new motor. So this is where she's going to live for, I don't know, a little bit of time till I decide what I'm going to do with her. But anyways, I'm going to jump in the dually. I'm going to head on over to the Mad Scientist home laboratory, meet my buddy Daryl, the guy that owns AutoWorks, super knowledgeable diesel mechanic that's going to help me do this whole rigging process. So I'm going to meet him over there, and we're going to set up the time-lapse camera. I'm going to go ahead and get to town, start putting all girl together. So hope you all enjoy the video, and thanks for watching, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, it's starting to look like something. It's starting to look super freaking bitchin'. Oh boy. Oh man, it's looking like a real motor, y'all. It's looking like we got some Duramax bald eagles about to be transplanted and no killing it right there. All right, check this freaking bad son out. Oh brother, look at that. We got a Terpski. Houston, this is not a drill. We've got a Terpski mounted. Oh brother, freaking sick, right? Crossover pipe install. We started running the fuel logs, started running some of the fuel lines, but we got a whole brand new fuel line kit that's coming, hopefully gonna be here tomorrow, because apparently the factory lines are steel, and a lot of the aftermarket ones, including the one that we end up buying, is stainless steel, so we won't have to worry about any buildup being maybe in some of those lines. If any water was to sit for a little while, because it is a mud truck, so it sits from time to time. If there's any water in the diesel and it sits in those lines, the lines can start rusting, and then I start getting all kinds of junk in my injectors, and not a good sight. So that's why we're getting all aftermarket fuel lines. They should be here. But these are the original fuel logs. Nice and pretty. Spent a lot of time cleaning those up last night. Looking on point. What else do we install? Installed the 14 mil CP3 pump right here. So that kind of just bolts to the inside right here. With this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and this bolt. And we got the Y bridge in, obviously. Got the turbo mounted. And we're not moving super fast because we're trying to, well, there's a lot involved with this for one. There's the oil return line for the turbo. So that's kind of cool how that works. That actually bolts right there to the bottom of the turbo. And we're going to have a high pressure oil line that goes from here, or actually comes from down here. There's all these plugs where you can access clean, high pressure oil. So I was talking to a guy from Socal Diesel on the cell phone today, or this evening while we were doing all this, and he was kind of walking us through how to go about getting oil to the turbos and how it should be routed. So I think we're gonna pull, we're kind of leaning towards either this plug or this one with a high pressure line, this high pressure line actually. and it's going to come up. We haven't decided yet how we're going to route it. We're either going to come up the back, but we kind of want to avoid it because there's hot ass pipes back here. So I'm thinking actually what we'll do is maybe route it up here. We're kind of looking at going around here, but it ends up destination is right here. And then the return, that's what I was showing a second ago. That's right down here. That bolts to that. And that's actually my original return line. I just cleaned it up. That's why it looks all nice and pretty and shiny. But yeah, it bolts here and then bam, dumps the oil back into the motor. So that's how this turbo gets oil. Not sure how the atmospheric charger, the bigger charger is going to be off here. The big old 88 millimeter son bitch is right there. Oh man, real deal. Not sure how she's going to get oil. But this is the Whirly Custom. It's part of the Whirly Custom Fabrication twin turbo kit. It's an S400 kit. So these are the high pressure lines that are going to feed that. So I'm thinking they're probably going to come off of either here or here. I think it comes off of this one. This is going to come up and this is going to give oil to that atmospheric charger. And then as far as the return, I'm not sure where that's going to go. Kind of thinking it might go right here. But I also, with the Whirly Custom Fabrication kit, I also have a new oil pan. It's in one of these boxes. Yeah, well, not new, but it's like a refurbished oil pan that they clean up really nice. And then they welded a bung to it right here so that the oil could return. But I'm thinking Socal Diesel might have already accomplished this by having this hole right here. So we might have the oil come from here, go to the atmospheric charger, and then return into the motor through here. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm still, like I keep saying, I'm still learning this stuff as I go. But it's pretty cool starting to understand how all this stuff goes together. I think even after this is all together, though, I'm not by any means going to be an expert on it, but I'll have a pretty damn basic idea or understanding of what in the hell's going on. Way more than I had before, that's for sure. Since we ended up getting the long block completely from Socal, I kind of missed out on being able to know exactly more of the inners of the motor, like the pistons and the crank and all that, but I got the basic concept. And ideally, I won't be messing with any of that stuff anyway. This is all stuff that I could potentially have to mess with here and there, so it's more important that I understand this part of it. So, but that is where we're at. Do we do anything else? Oh yeah, Mr. Dale got us 2 brand new sensors. We installed right here, the crank position sensor. I'm not sure what this one was, but they're one digit part number apart. Follow me there? Do we do anything else? Not really. Got that bracket installed that Mr. Darrell had me take off before. Remember, it was raw. We threw it in Brian's tumbler, got it looking nice and clean, and then I put some high heat paint on it. So hopefully mud will come right off it. This stuff is gonna get stained, I'm pretty sure, but trying to paint or powder coat, probably paint. Everything that's already powder coated is powder coated, but the remaining things that are raw, I'm trying to paint what I can because the mud will be less likely to stain the rest of the items. So, yeah, dude, we are coming together. It's freaking looking legit, huh? Looking like a real motherfucking deal. Hell yeah. So I'm feeling super accomplished this is the first day of rigging up the new motor. I feel like we're making some really freaking good progress. Mr. Darrell actually was a little not satisfied with how far we are, but this is what he does day in and day out, and he's just setting his goals really, really high every day. I think is kind of more what's happening. I'm not dissatisfied at all because if I was doing this by myself, there's no way I'd be this far, and more than likely, everything I have installed would have probably been wrong. Maybe not everything, but I would have goofed something up. So his knowledge is worth its weight in gold. Freaking tell you that. So but I mean, we kind of were talking about the progress we made. Probably just got maybe another 2 days or so of rigging, and this motor will be ready to go in the truck. And then we're going to have another big job as far as routing all the plumbing and everything for those turbos to hook up, like all the intake piping and intercooler piping, and probably gonna have to be some fabrication work hopefully we can still run that hood stack. That's something else I got to work with Mad Scientist on. I think we're gonna have to do some alteration maybe to the piping a little bit in order to be able to still achieve the hood stack. So I don't know, it's gonna be still a long journey ahead, but we are making progress. And a lot of the reason, that was the other thing I was going to explain, a lot of the reason why this is taking a little bit longer, some of you guys that are diesel mechanics might be like, oh, I've seen engine swaps get done in X amount of hours. This is taking, well, there's no real manual for what we're doing. Like, yeah, we've got kits from Whirly Custom Fab, we got stuff from Danville Performance, we got stuff from Socal Diesel, but there's no real actual step-by-step instruction on how this is supposed to go. And a lot of this stuff it is very important what gets installed in what order so that you still have access. Like you got to install this, then install that, and install this. Otherwise, if you installed something prior to what should have been installed first, then you can't access the bolts or you can't get in there properly. It doesn't seal up right. So it is very methodical the way this has got to go together. And also, yeah, we've got 3 different companies that did come together. They all were kind of working with one another, making all this come together for us. But we kind of had to open each box and kind of get all the parts out. And luckily, Daryl knows way more about this than I do. And he has a good idea of what steps to go in and what needs to go where, what needs to be installed next, because I have no freaking clue. I mean, I'm definitely learning a ton and still wouldn't be able to do this by myself once we're done, I don't think. But I'll have much better of an idea of how the intricate pieces of this work. So that's why it's taken a while. That's where we're at. We're going to go ahead and call it an evening tonight. We're going to reconvene tomorrow and probably put another full evening worth of work into rigging this up. And Daryl thinks, depending on what parts come in between like tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, whether those fuel lines come in and there's a couple other parts that he had ordered, Daryl's been a godsend. That's another thing I want to throw in this video real quick. Daryl has been a freaking godsend when it comes to making this motor happen, like as far as putting it together. Like I think I said in a previous video, Mr. Josh Mendenhall, he's part of our team, part of our crew, knows ins and outs of all kinds of motors. He's rebuilt a bunch of Cummins engines. He helped the mad scientist exponentially with his LS motor. A very, very knowledgeable mechanic. Taking nothing away from him. He freaking kills it. He's forgot more than I've ever freaking learned. I'll tell you that. But as far as messing with the Duramax in particular, he hasn't actually done that so much. Same with the mad scientist. Freaking brilliant fabricator. And can figure anything out if he really put his mind to it, honestly. I feel like he could build a spaceship if he wanted to. But as far as messing with the Duramax, me to just rip right into it, hasn't done it, and y'all know where I stand. So to have Mr. Daryl volunteer his time to come and help me with this is so freaking awesome. I mean, cannot thank him enough. He's working full days worth of work at his mechanic shop. He owns and runs AutoWorks of Venice over there in Venice, Florida. But he's doing all kinds of stuff all day long, dealing with paperwork, running his shop. He's like a jack of all trades over at that shop. He does freaking a little bit of everything. And not to mention he's the owner, head honcho. But to go and spend all that time at his shop throughout the whole freaking day and then come and spend 2, 3 hours, 4 hours with me here messing with my freaking never-ending project, how super blessed. Like words can't describe how fortunate I am. I mean, honestly, like how fortunate, how blessed, whatever you want to call it. Tell you, I said it a bunch of other times. I wouldn't be shit without my friends. Daryl's one of them. Wouldn't be shit. You're part of the crew, man. Wouldn't be shit without you guys. It is so freaking awesome because there's no way in hell I could do this without my friends. Like, look. I mean, just case in point right now. We got an engine that's partially rigged, got my old motor pretty tore down, and we're in a super badass shop with every tool you could ever think of. Like, God cranked it out of the park with my friends, I tell you that. Everybody should have the opportunity to be blessed with the friends that I got. Not to brag, but my friends are freaking awesome. They freaking out of the freaking park, over the fence, over the parking lot, into the next county. That's what my friends do for freaking sure. So, well, I think I jawed enough for tonight, but I want to give you all a little rundown where we're at and bring everybody up to speed and let you know what was going through my noggin. So I'm going to go home, get some sleep, go get to work tomorrow. We'll reconvene tomorrow afternoon. We continue rigging this new motor up. Y'all, well, another evening down of rigging the new engine. She's coming along very nice. So let me give you a little rundown of what we did if you didn't catch it all in that time lapse. We got the injector return lines all ran, got this side manifold on, We got both the up pipes installed. We got them wrapped with really badass header wrap and banded up so it'll stay nice and tight. We got the blanket, the turbo blanket. We got it secured with a safety wire on front and back. That was just loosely sitting up there before. Started kind of fitting the water pipe crossover. What else did we do? Oh, got the oil cooler installed. It's all down here. Got it snugged up with these mounting bolts in the back and in the front. Got it sitting perfectly in the right area so it's not really binding in any one direction or the other. We got part of the water pump bypass kit installed. What else did we do? Replaced a couple more of these fuel hoses that we still got to replace this one U-shaped one back here, but replaced a couple more of the fuel hoses. And we got all the mounting bolts snugged down and torqued for the fuel logs, both side fuel logs. And then in the midst of doing all that, we actually started messing around a little bit with the atmospheric charger and trying to get an idea on how that's going to mount. I'm thinking we're probably going to actually end up mounting that while the engine is sitting here on the crate. And that'll be because it's way more accessible with it sitting here on the crate as opposed to being up in the truck. We started kind of mocking that up, how it's going to work. Basically what'll happen, this is the pedestal mount that mounts, it mounts to those 4 holes right there. This deal sits right there. We're gonna have to move that one piece of angle iron out of the way, but that'll bolt right to the block. And then this bracket also is for the oil return. So use a high pressure line that'll go from the bottom of that pedestal. But we basically started getting a feel for how that's all gonna work. That atmospheric charger, we're gonna have to do a little bit of tweaking to the oil dipstick. This actually, on a lot of the pictures I've seen of kits that were ran with their kit, they go and they'll bend this a little bit and have the oil dipstick kind of come forward. And then the atmospheric charger will sit right about in here. And then you've got a big super bitchin' exhaust pipe that comes around, connects to here. And then the intake pipes, obviously, I'll go to the front. And then this is my actual exhaust pipe. It's a big 4-inch pipe. And this V-bands to the back side of the turbski. And basically what this will be like, this will be sitting, originally, like the way the kit typically is ran. Let's see if I can hold this and do the camera. The way it's typically ran basically sits about here like this. So that way your exhaust is going right to the back of the truck. But what me and the mad scientists are thinking, so hopefully I can still run my hood stack that we've become known for. We're just gonna turn this pipe upside down, have it come straight up, and we're probably gonna cut it right there at that weld with the bandsaw. And we might have to shorten it up a little bit and tweak it, maybe have it rock forward just a little bit, because this pipe is gonna end up sitting right next to that dryer. I think I'm probably gonna end up moving all those electrical components because I don't want them getting hot, and they got flame shield on them and everything. But I think I'm just gonna relocate them to be safe. But this exhaust pipe is gonna end up running right to the left of that dryer. So I'm actually super enthused because the mad scientist does seem enthusiastic about being able to continue running the hood stack. Which, is dumb as it might sound, that's actually something I was stressing a little bit because I really like that hood stack. I think it's me, it's part of my style, you know what I mean? And I'm one of the only trucks, Frank, I got the idea, let's be honest here. I got the idea from Frank Bagwell, from his Twisted Metal Performance truck. He was freaking badass. One of my favorite mega trucks. Part of the reason why I built a mega truck. He was part of the reason. But I really like the way that stack looks. It kind of gives a little bit of bling to the truck a little bit, and it sounds badass. It looks super cool. So I really want to maintain that hood stack. And also, we're like the only truck that runs it. It's part of my style, and I really freaking like it. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we can still run that hood stack. Mad Scientist says he's pretty convinced that we're going to be able to. So bam, super freaking bitching. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it an evening because I'm super tired. It's now about midnight. We'll go ahead and call it an evening, wrap it up. I already got some of the tools put away and all, and we're gonna reconvene tomorrow after work. We're gonna continue rigging this motor. See ya. I did want to pause here for a second, y'all, and throw some credit where credit's due. Obviously, big thanks to the mad scientist and Mr. Darryl. There's no way in hell I'd be able to pull this off without y'all. But I also want to throw some credit to Mr. Guy and Mr. Gabe over at Socal Diesel, Mr. Dustin over at Worley Custom Fabrications, Mr. Mark over at Danville Performance, and our boy Mr. Rowley with that twin-turbo Duramax race truck. If y'all don't know who Mr. Rowley is, well, you freaking should. He has the Dirty Looks mega truck. He actually went for a badass rip with him in his twin-turbo mega truck at Iron Horse Mud Ranch. last year at the same event that I blew the engine in the truck in. He was really instrumental in helping me figure out all this twin turbo setup and kind of the kit I wanted to run. But really want to thank all y'all very, very much, because in particular times like what just happened there in the time lapse where I was on the cell phone there for a minute, I was calling these guys constantly. A lot of it got captured in the time lapse. Some of it didn't because I was like behind the camera or I was like outside on the phone or whatever. But I was reaching out to these guys constantly throughout this whole build process. And the fact that they would even answer my phone calls, I mean, I'm calling them. We're working on this thing. Generally, we're meeting around like 6 o'clock in the evening and we're working until midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm calling these guys at like 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and they're answering all of our questions on how this stuff is supposed to go together. Because like I said before, I think it was earlier on in this video, there's no like instruction manual on how this is supposed to go. Yeah, we can get a pretty good idea looking at pictures of similar builds, but as far as this specific setup, no, there's no instruction manual. We're kind of like figuring our way through it. Luckily, Mr. Darrell knows this stuff like the back of his hand. And luckily, we've got all these resources, all these awesome people that are willing to help us out and answer all of our questions. But it's not a walk in the park. It's not like just a plug and play thing. There's a lot of like, there's some finesse that goes into making this stuff come together. So thank you all very, very much. I really appreciate you guys putting up with all my shit. Now you guys know what the mad scientist has to deal with every day of his life. No. Anyways, thank you all very, very much. So really, really appreciate it. Well, y'all, we're wrapping up another evening, and again, we made some pretty damn good progress. I'm gonna give you a little rundown where we're at. So we started mounting the pedestal that's gonna hold the atmospheric turbocharger. The big 88 millimeter is gonna go right there. I had to modify the brackets that were on this crate. I had to go ahead and cut that one member out. That way we can actually get to it because they were using one of those bolt holes to secure the engine down during shipping. But we got this installed, and then Mr. Dale did a whole bunch of soldering. We got all the new ends that go on all the injectors. He got all those heat shrunk, crimped, and soldered onto the wiring harness. As I said, I believe I said in one of the other videos, we're gonna go ahead and actually reuse this factory harness because it's in pretty good shape. Just a couple of the areas were burned a little bit, but we went ahead and cut all those areas out and also got rid of all the bad connectors. We went ahead and he soldered a new connector onto the fuel log, all the new injectors. He cut out the things that were the ends that would go on the glow plugs, because this engine, as I said in one of the first videos, this is a racing diesel engine, racing Duramax, so it will not have any glow plugs. So this has got what they refer to as a glow plug delete kit, which is basically they just got plugs that go in all the glow plug holes. So we no longer needed all the ends that go on the glow plugs because they're not there. But we did that. We got the harness laid over the top of the engine. Started loosely fitting the brackets that are going to go on the front to hold both the alternators. We didn't bolt those on. We basically just put them on there so that we can tell exactly how the wiring harness needs to route. We don't want to route something in a certain area and then have that be covered by a bracket or be crushed by a bracket. So we set those on there. And now the next step is going to be to start working on this other side. But that's all we got done for this evening. It's actually like a very time-consuming process, soldering all these ends on and whatnot. But all in all, again, another freaking day in the books. So we're going to go ahead and call it an evening, and we'll get back with you all in a couple days. We'll keep plugging away at it. Next step be on that freaking, actually be the driver's side. We already did the passenger side, so the next step will be all the electrical on the driver's side of the engine. See you all in a little bit. All right, y'all, so I had a really small, little, tiny kind of goof up. So the next day when I went to go start working on the truck, I was running a little bit late, so I didn't have time to go through and kind of explain where we were at. and we ended up being there extremely late into the evening, and I usually got to be at work at 6:30 in the morning. So when I'm working till like 1 in the morning, yeah, it's a dicey subject. It can be a little challenging. So I actually screwed up multiple things. For one, the time-lapse camera battery died, and I didn't realize it while we were working. It died like halfway through the evening. So we missed a little bit of it. And also at the end of the night, I was so tired, I didn't even look at the time-lapse camera. I kind of like forgot the thing even existed. So not only did I forget the battery died, but I forgot to give you a rundown on kind of where we're at. So yeah, sorry about that. Oops. But next day, when we go to start working on it again, I went ahead and started explaining where we were at. So I kind of covered pretty much all of it, but that's why I didn't cover it at the end of that previous evening. And that's why you missed some of it in the time-lapse camera. The freaking battery died. The thing can't keep up with us because we're just freaking killing it, bro. The camera battery just can't hang, I'm telling you. But we got the power steering pump installed. We got the pulley swapped over. Got the secondary alternator installed. Got the compressor for the air conditioner. Got that installed. Got the new cap for our water crossover, because that was necessary in order to accommodate this upper coolant pipe that comes up in, it's pretty badass. It's actually over here. Let me show you. This pipe. In order to get this kit from Whirly, you've got to put a different cap on the water crossover pipe. So that whole cap right there is replaced. So that way this will go something like that. Much, much, much cooler looking than that crappy rubber pipe that was on there before. But we got that all done. We started routing the oil feed lines for the Valley charger. Went ahead and the biggest thing, the elephant in the room, we got the freaking atmosphere charger back. Everything fits like a snug as a bug in a rug. Went ahead and got the exhaust pipe installed back on here. Yeah, freaking killing it. Well, it's not I guess it's like the hot side pipe is probably what they refer to it as. Got the hot side pipe. Got the new bolts installed on it. Got everything kind of sitting where we want. Started connecting the oil feed lines for the atmospheric charger. Went ahead and torqued all the bolts down for the exhaust manifolds. Got my new pieces from Vibrant Performance for our crankcase vents. What else did we do? I think that's kind of the gist of it. We were kind of taking our time, making sure everything fits nice and snug. Again, we pulled all this apart, torqued everything down, put it all back together. We had to route a couple wires a little differently too. As we started putting everything together, we realized that there's a couple wires we needed to route before we put all that bracketry on. So when we pulled all that off, we were able to route those wires properly and then put the bracket work back on. That's kind of where we're at though. It's looking super freaking big. Oh yeah, and we installed the brackets for the fan shroud. They're right there and there. Freaking dialed in. So we're getting super close to having the engine totally rigged. That's probably what I'm gonna do with this video. This whole video is I know it was kind of boring, a lot of time lapsing, but basically this whole video is just gonna be rigging the motor, and then I'll probably transition over to another video when we actually start installing the engine and doing all the super bitchin' goodies we got in store for old Killin It. The motor's just like, it's a big part of it, but we got some other things up the sleeve that are gonna be freaking sick too. So we're not stopping here. It's gonna be freaking badass. So anyways, I'm waiting for Mr. Daryl. He's on his way over. We'll get the time-lapse camera going and start getting to it. Get this thing that much closer, going and all killing it. Yeah, brother. just like that, the new motor is mother freaking rigged, y'all. Y'all want to see it? You want to see it? It looks pretty good. It's pretty freaking bitchin'. Y'all want to see it? You want to see it? You want to freaking check out our new freaking super bitchin', fully built Socal diesel twin turbo Duramax engine? Oh, brother. Well, don't y'all worry. I'm going to show it to you. But, a little spoiler alert. We're gonna give you a little hint on what might be going on in the freaking mad scientist's home laboratory. While we show you how the engine's rigged, just take a little gander at this. Yeah. Yeah, brother. So this is the last time for quite a while that we're gonna see this motor out of the truck, hopefully, right guys?
Yeah, or I'm gonna delete your number, one of the two.
What? All my fans are gonna think you hate me.
Who's that? I bet they actually do.
I'm sure they do.
I bet they do.
I don't know, I'm
At
kind
least they know the truth. Yeah, at least, yeah. At least I'm not holding back.
I don't know, if you hated me, you kind of do a lot for me to hate me, so.
Oh, he's just setting you up for
just,
disaster.
It's just a big mystery.
No, he's building you up. Just bring you down.
Yeah.
Super bitchin', dude. It's the last time we're gonna see her out, man. I gotta take this in.
Should actually be.
Hold on. Get it good.
Yeah, get it good.
Good look.
Man, look at that thing.
Nice. Where's that?
Oh yeah, I bet you are putting together. You know what? Spoiler alert, I guess you guys have a pretty damn good idea what's happening in the next video, huh? Oh shit. One thing I will go ahead and say, no, we're not going to make it to the barn at Sanford for the Trucks Gone Wild truck tugs this weekend. I really wish we were. That would be super bitching if the truck was already together and it was a surprise we're making it. But no, there's still a lot of stuff we got to do to the truck. So the Killin It Mega Truck is not going to make it. But Team Killin It sure as shit is going to be there. We're going to be taking the Mad Scientist freaking super bitchin' Pro Charge LS motor. That freaking 1,300 horsepower freaking red scream machine is. There we go, Brian. Turn her up, buddy. Yo, man, oh, it's going to be real deal. And I'll go ahead and throw this out there, too. I already got a $1 bet that we're going to drag JHG, so but let's up the ante a little bit. I got 10 whiskey shots that I'll bet that we drag JH's ass all the way back to the parking lot. You ready for this, brother? Oh, freaking real deal. If y'all ain't doing nothing this weekend, your asses better be at the barn in Sanford, Florida for the freaking Trucks Gone Wild truck tugs. We get them freaking tires. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just like that. I don't know that we're going to get any nitrous in the air because Killin It's not going to be there. But, yeah, it's going to be super freaking banging. So, hope y'all enjoyed this video, though, our freaking engine rigging video. Hope y'all learned a little bit. Try to cover as much as I could. There was a lot going on, a whole lot that we did. And if I'm going to be totally honest with y'all, Daryl didn't say anything about it. I don't think he minded. But I didn't want to be that guy with the camera every 5 seconds as he's trying to help me. He's volunteering his time to help me rig this motor. I didn't want to press my luck. So that's why I videoed most of it. Y'all got the gist of what the hell was going on. But that's why I didn't get into every little detail of it. I didn't want to push my luck. I got people helping me out. You don't want to be that kid with the freaking camera. So anyways, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope y'all learned a little bit. And as always, thanks for watching, y'all. Oh, make sure you freaking pay attention because the next video, yeah, I think y'all know what's going to happen. Oh, yeah. Engine is up and boom, in the freaking Killin It Mega Truck, brother. God, it's going to be, we got such a good year out of it. 2023 is going to be super mother freaking bitching, y'all. So, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, y'all. If y'all enjoyed the video and want to check out future videos, subscribe to our channel. Hit that button right there. While you're at it, hit the like button at the bottom of your screen. You can also check out our website, KillinItLifestyle.com. There you can follow the Killin It crew and order your own apparel so everyone will know you're killing it!